Have you ever wondered about karma? I mean, really wondered about it. Today, we're going to look at it in a completely different light. Forget the mystical, spooky stuff for a second. We're going to explore karma as a rational, impartial, and totally self-operating law of the universe. Yeah, just like gravity. Let's get right into it.
This simple piece of wisdom is really the key to everything we're talking about today. A neem tree won't sprout from a wheat seed. You plant wheat, you get wheat. You plant neem, you get neem. What you sow is exactly what you reap. It's not superstition, it's just mechanics. It's a fundamental law of cause and effect.
And the law itself? It's incredibly simple. For every single action, there is an equal and corresponding reaction. The cause is always reflected in the effect. It's a perfect, unwavering principle, as reliable and predictable as any law of nature.
So let's kick things off by talking about this eternal law. And this isn't some abstract idea floating out in the cosmos. You can see the proof of this system, this cause and effect, all around you, every single day.
Just think about it for a second. A doctor doesn't just wake up one day with a degree, right? That degree, the effect, is the result of years and years of intense study. That's the cause. Or look at a gardener. They don't get beautiful flowers the moment they plant a seed. No, they have to water it, care for it, and wait. And a farmer? They have to sow, nurture, and wait an entire season for their harvest. The pattern here is obvious. A specific effort leads to a specific outcome, but there's almost always a delay.
And that delay, that time gap, that's what brings us to the big question. It's the one thing that makes so many of us doubt this whole system. If karma is this perfect law, why aren't the results instant? Why do we have to wait?
And this is the part that drives us all a little crazy, doesn't it? We look around at the world and we see genuinely good people who are really struggling. And then we see others who seem to cut corners and act dishonestly, and they just prosper. It feels so unfair. It makes you ask, is this system even working?
You see, it's this lag time between an action and its external result that creates all the doubt. It makes people question the fairness of the universe itself. And pretty often, it leads them to question the whole idea of a higher power. You start to wonder, is anyone even in charge here? And if they are they paying attention?
Okay, so this brings us to a huge, and I mean huge, clarification. The source material we're looking at suggests that maybe we've been thinking about this all wrong. The key is to understand that we are dealing with a system, not a personal judge who's keeping score.
So the common misconception is that there's some kind of divine being sitting up on a throne, personally handing out rewards and punishments like a cosmic referee. But the logic here suggests something different. It says the system is completely automated. It's impartial. It just runs on its own laws without any personal bias or interference.
And this analogy just nails it. Think of the creator as the one who designed and established the law of electricity. They don't personally show up to shock you if you stick your finger in a live socket. Of course not. The shock is a built-in, automatic consequence of misusing the system. The creator doesn't intervene. The law just operates perfectly on its own.
So, if you think about it, the architect's role is to create these perfect, universal laws and then step back. They don't micromanage our lives. Instead, they give us the ultimate gift, total freedom to choose our thoughts and actions. And here's the beautiful part. To ensure that the system is perfectly fair, even the creator remains bound by the very laws they made. The system is supreme.
And this right here is where it all clicks. This is the big aha moment. This is what solves the entire mystery of that delay between what we do and what we get.
The solution is so simple, it's actually profound. Get this, the results, or the fruits of our actions, aren't just one thing. They are twofold. There is an immediate consequence and a delayed one. We've just been looking in the wrong place. Look at this table. It lays it all out perfectly. Every single action produces two kinds of fruits. First, there's the internal fruit, and this one is always immediate. When you do a good deed, you instantly get a feeling of self-satisfaction, of inner peace. And when you do a bad deed, you instantly get that feeling of internal conflict, of turmoil. The second part is the external fruit, the good or bad circumstances in your life, and that's the part that's delayed.
This completely reframes everything, doesn't it? Suddenly it all makes sense. The most valuable, the most precious reward for doing something good isn't something you have to wait for years to get. It's that immediate, priceless feeling of inner peace that comes from doing the right thing. That is the real prize, and you get it the moment you act.
And history is filled with these powerful examples. The man who had to give poison to Socrates was apparently so full of self-loathing that he was hitting his own head in anguish. The people who crucified Jesus were said to be weeping, showing this deep reverence for him even as they did what they were doing. And famously, Nathuram Godse bowed to Muhammad Gandhi just seconds before he assassinated him. In every single case, the internal state was the immediate and undeniable consequence, no matter what was happening on the outside.
You know, the ancient texts even had specific words for this. Adi refers to all those mental afflictions, the anxiety, the turmoil, the guilt that comes from negative thoughts and actions, and Vyadi refers to physical diseases. The texts drew a direct line between the two, suggesting that Adi, that internal state, is the actual root cause of Vyadi, the external illness.
And guess what? This isn't just some ancient philosophical idea anymore. Modern science, especially psychosomatic medicine, is confirming this exact link. We now know that chronic stress, guilt, anger, all of these negative internal states are major drivers of external physical illnesses, from heart disease to all sorts of other problems. The internal state eventually always manifests externally.
So what does this all mean for you and me? Well, this understanding isn't just some interesting theory. It's a practical guide. It shifts the power from some external force directly into your own hands. It lets you become the architect of your own well-being.
And the path forward becomes incredibly clear. Step 1. Recognize that your choices, your thoughts, and your actions are constantly creating your immediate internal state, whether it's peace or turmoil. Step 2. Understand that this internal state is the seed for your future external reality. So step 3 is the only logical move. Align your thoughts and actions with goodness to create that inner peace. And when you do that, step 4 happens automatically. You take direct control of your own happiness.
And that brings us to this beautiful, kind of mind-bending paradox of our existence. We have absolute, total freedom to choose our actions and our thoughts. That's our right. But we are not free from the consequences of those choices. The law is perfect, and it's automatic. The internal result is instant, and the external result, well, that's going to follow for sure.
At the end of the day, it really boils down to this. Happiness and sorrow are not these arbitrary punishments or rewards handed down from above. They are simply the natural, predictable harvest of the seeds that we ourselves are planting every single moment with our own deeds.
And what an incredible shift in perspective this is. Karma is no longer something to be afraid of, some cosmic judgment system keeping a tally of your mistakes. Instead, it becomes this beautiful, logical system you can actually use. It becomes your most powerful tool for creating a life of peace, meaning, and well-being, from the inside out.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to ponder. Is your state of being, your happiness or your sorrow, just something that happens to you, a matter of random luck or fate? Or is it the direct, logical, and immediate result of the choices you are making, right here and right now? The power, as we've just seen, is entirely in your hands.